Welcome to Community Checkup. I'm your host, Stefanie Miller.
I'm Missy Acosta with Delta Dental of Tennessee.
What a great show we have in store for everyone. Not quite as fun as last month because, I mean, it doesn't get much more fun than when you're around a lot of kids.
Absolutely.
But very informative. We have some incredible guests. We have the Chief Advancement Officer with Communities in School, Leah Susi.
Yes.
Who else do we have on the show?
We have Doug Mathews, who is a sports talk host who's been around Tennessee for years. He was a coach at University of Tennessee. Doug Mathews was recently inducted to the Sports Hall of Fame, so we get a chance to chat with him. Mm-hmm. And we also have Meharry. We had a ribbon cutting for a new, what's called the CREAT Center, which is their Center for Innovation and Technology, which is very exciting for the students there.
We're going to learn so much about what these students are going to be able to get from having this new area there at the College of Dentistry. And with Communities in School, you're going to learn the impact that they're having on communities throughout Tennessee as a whole and where they now have new programs here in the state. So a lot coming for you. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
At Delta Dental of Tennessee, we know our success begins and ends with providing superior quality service, and that includes serving those who need it most. This year, we're celebrating 25 years of giving back to the community we call home. Delta Dental, along with our Smile 180 Foundation, supports Tennessee's dental colleges and oral health education, children's hospitals, free and reduced cost dental clinics, and other like-minded charities. Here's to the next 25 plus years of ensuring healthy smiles.
Bongo Java. Come see us at the Omni Nashville.
Welcome back to Community Checkup. We're so excited to have with us Leah Susi with Communities in Schools. So we're talking about back to school. Mm-hmm. So many schools, it's crazy. The counties around here are all starting back early August now. I remember the days you started after Labor Day.
Right, yes. Yep.
So everything has changed. But thanks for coming in.
It's good to be here.
Talk with you about Communities in Schools and what all you guys do. Communities in Schools has been here in Tennessee for 12 years now. Yes. And you have grown so much. So share with us, where all are you located and what are some of the things that you do to help students and families in schools?
Sure. So we are located statewide. So we have about 26 schools here in Nashville and then about 37 across the state, mostly located in the most economically distressed counties across the state. And so what we're doing is we're going into these schools and we're supporting the non-academic needs that come up for families. And so things that may prevent kids from getting to school or even staying in the classroom. What we realize and studies show is that about 2/3 of how successful kids can be in school is actually things related to outside the home. So, you know, the things like basic needs, transportation, even like mental health, things like that students don't or teachers don't have control over. And so that's what we do. We have a staff member that's based in the school and they're there to address those needs. They're there to figure out what's going on with a student, what's going on with a family, how can we keep them engaged, how can we keep them coming to school, how can we figure out what that barrier might be, and then find a solution to it.
With being in the schools for 12 years now in the areas that you have been serving, with having that support, what are some of the positive changes that you've seen at those schools?
Yes, so one of the main things we focus on is chronic absenteeism. And so coming out of COVID, that was a big problem. There was a lot of kids that weren't coming to school, very high chronic absentee rates across the state. And so that's one of the things we've said is, you know, really pinpointing who is not coming to school, and then how do we make sure they get in the classroom. And so we've been working closely with those school districts and the schools that we're in to address that, and have seen this year in particular a 76% positive rate on our chronic absentee rates, which is fantastic to see.
Absolutely.
Kids coming to school. The other thing we're really focusing on, again, kind of coming out of COVID, was mental health and student focusing on that. So we have an assessment we do with students at the beginning of the year to address, like, hey, what are their needs? What are their life and social skills that they need around, like, conflict resolution, friendships, anything related to those types of things. And then we assess it at the end of the year, and seeing an increase this past year from 71% last year to 91% success. And so really focusing on the individual student and how we can address their needs.
So, I mean, you really get into customized approaches. So what are some of these barriers that y'all encounter, or that your social workers encounter, and how are those addressed?
Yes, that's what I always say. I think our staff that are in our schools, they're very curious. And so we know that, like, one solution's not going to fit everybody. And so they're saying, what's the problem? And then what can we do to solve that? And so for some kids, it could be they don't have access to clean clothes on a regular basis, and they don't want to go to school in a dirty uniform, or they don't have the hygiene supplies that they need. And so that could keep them from coming to school. And so when our program managers find that out, we can say, what's the solution? Do we need to buy the family a washer and dryer? We've been washing clothes in a field house by the football fields for students sometimes. So what's that barrier? We even had, a family that may have experienced bed bugs, and they had to relocate. Well, they don't have transportation from the school district anymore. And so for that week or two, they may just not be able to come to school. And so being able to identify who's not there, how to get them there, and then we have the means to be able to say, okay, we'll help set up transportation to keep you coming to school. So it is a very individualized approach for all of our students in schools.
Are you working with all grades or just certain grade levels?
We do. We work with all grades, so K through 12.
And also you're talking about meeting these needs of the students, and sometimes it might be a hygiene product, or
Yes.
sometimes food. You guys work very collaboratively with other organizations too, don't you?
Yes, we do. We think that's a really important part of it, is that we know that, one organization is not going to be able to do everything. And so what we recognize is that there's so many resources that are available, but sometimes they just aren't able to get to the people, because it can be a maze to figure out what those resources are and how to access them. And so that's where our program managers come in and work with both the school administration and also the families to determine what those needs are, and how we bring in those partners into the schools. Here in Nashville, there's an ample supply of those resources. We found in our rural communities that's a little bit harder. There's a little less resources, and so a lot of times our program managers have to get creative, or they may have their own food bank in their office or their own clothing closet to be able to meet the needs of students and families that if there's not that resource in the community.
Is there a way for fellow community members to support what you're doing there in these different counties, especially in the rural areas?
Yes, our website is cistn.org, and you can go to the donate tab, and there's a way to donate financially, but then there's also, it says other ways to give, and that's where you can see the in-kind donations.
That's awesome.
Actually, Leah, before you leave us, I do want to ask about how Delta Dental has supported, just so people that are watching this know the support, because you guys have given so much support, significant support to communities and schools.
Yes, we are great partners with Delta Dental. We've participated in, at times, I know a couple of our schools applied and got the water filter systems in their schools, which has been awesome. They provided hygiene, back to school kits for our students. Their internal staff has come and volunteered and read on Read Across America Day, and they've also are our presenting sponsor for our upcoming fundraiser on September 24th. So we
have an executive who is a new board member for you.
Yes, so they are very engaged and great partners for our work here in Nashville, but also in our rural areas across the state.
For those seeing this who may say they want to be a part of that fundraiser, they may want to contribute in some way, do they just reach out to you directly?
Sure, yes. You can reach out to me. My information is on our website, but also on our website there's an events tab, and you can go on there and you can register to come. It's free to come and learn more about our work, and hear some great stories about success that's happening and the impact that's being made across the state.
I actually had the opportunity to attend for the last few years, and it's always interesting because you do have those social workers who work with the students, and they have such uplifting stories
Yes.
of the families and the changes that have been able to that they have been able to impact for that child. All of everybody I've ever met with Communities in Schools has just been wanting to love on the kids and help them, because for Delta Dental, an educated society is a healthy society.
Absolutely.
And we want everybody in our community to be healthy, and we want them to all have healthy smiles. So,
Yes.
Leah, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be with y'all today.
Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Dental and vision. We love your whole face. See us at deltadentaltn.com.
Hi, I'm Carmen at the Omni Nashville Hotel. Come see us at the Macara Spa.
You're seeing the signs too, right?
What signs?
Hi, welcome back to Community Checkup. We're so excited to be able to welcome our next guest, and Doug Mathews. Welcome to Community Checkup, and congratulations. You have just been inducted to the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. So how does that feel with the state sports community recognizing your legacy in sports here in Tennessee?
Well, first off, thanks for having me here. I appreciate it very much. It means a lot. It's an honor without question. And I was born in Oklahoma, but I've been a Tennessean for much longer, going on about 50 years now, either playing, of course, at Vanderbilt, coaching in high school here, coaching at the University of Tennessee, and then I've lived back in Nashville for the last 35 years, doing a little media, a little sporting goods. So, and I think a lot of it probably has to do with the radio that I do now,
Yes.
on sports radio.
And
probably.
you mentioned a little radio show, but it's not little. It's syndicated across the state. Big Orange Sunday, and then also Football Saturday.
Yep, football Saturday, and then Coach Dave McGinnis and I, who people listen to this show certainly know who Dave McGinnis is, we do a statewide show called Coast to Coast during football season also. So, but it's, that's kind of been my life ever since I was about 6 years old, and it's something I enjoy talking about. What I really try to do on all of them is, I was fortunate enough to really be in the football end of it for all my life, almost. And I try to do that, what you all do in your field, is try to educate people. And I'm not talking that from looking down on people, but educate people. College football, I'm not a big pro guy, but college football's what I talk about. And try to educate people on a game that I love, and why are they doing this? Not what they should be doing, but why are they doing this from a coach's perspective. And it's worked out very well. Enjoy doing it, love doing it. Don't have to work too hard, so all that plays into it.
Well, you mentioned you started 6 years old playing football. You were an award-winning player at junior college before you came to Vanderbilt. Can you share with us a little bit about that recognition?
Yeah, well, it kind of all started where I grew up. I grew up in Oklahoma when I was very young, in the mid-50s. And I did go to junior college. It was the best move that ever happened to me. There was a junior college about 10 miles from me, northeastern Oklahoma. We were fortunate enough there to win the national championship. And then actually, a coach named Bill Pace, who was the head coach of Vanderbilt, had gone to my junior college and was from my hometown, which there's only 2,000 people in my hometown. I don't know what the odds of that would have been, but he was the head coach of Vanderbilt. Came to Nashville, first time I'd ever been east of the Mississippi. Matter of fact, when he told me he was from Vanderbilt, I didn't know if it was Vanderbilt or Villanova. So I knew I was either going to, when I got on the plane, I knew I was either going to Nashville or Philadelphia, and it happened to be Nashville. And then because of that, met some people, got into coaching, started my coaching career at Montgomery Bell Academy for 1 year, and then was fortunate enough to go into college for 20 years, and of course 10 of those up at University of Tennessee.
Okay. I have a little bit of inside track. I know over the years, he mentioned we were a sponsor for the shows, and we have for over 10 years, I believe. But over that time, you got to know Phil Wink, our former CEO. And so Phil asked me to get you to relay the story of actually a couple of coaches that you've worked for and with who are also in the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. A certain instance, sharing an office with Phil Fulmer when the head coach was Johnny Majors.
Yeah. Well, Philip and I, Coach Fulmer and I, came to Tennessee at the same year in 1980. He got there, I think, in January. I got there in February. And back that time, everybody shared an office back then. Head coach didn't, but assistants did. So I was in an office with him for 9 years until we moved into the new building that they're in now, where you actually had your own office. Philip was, I was 32. Philip, I think, was 29. Young coaches going in to coach for a coaching legend. You know, Coach Majors, of course. Everybody know, I don't have to explain who John Majors is, but anyway, and Coach was like a lot of coaches. He was fair, but he was tough on younger coaches till he got to where he could trust you. So there were quite a few meetings in our office where he would come in, and I'm sure what Phil, who's a great, as you know, just a great guy, and they grew up in Clinton, Tennessee, so Tennessee guy. Coach Majors used to come in, and at that time, I was coaching running backs. We had really good running backs. And he was coaching an offensive line that had kind of again been depleted. So after practice, spring practice and fall practice, Coach Majors would occasionally come in, and he would, in the only way that he could, you'd have to know John Majors know this, he would kind of tell Philip what he needed to be doing. And then it was almost like he saw me over there and said, well, I might as well say a little something to you too. So this goes on, and after about 3 or 4 trips in there, I looked over at Philip and I said, Philip, one of two things have to happen here. I said, either you better get that offensive line playing better, or one of us is going to move out of this office. So, but I spent 10 years with Coach. We had some great years, and so many great young men. You mentioned the Hall of Fame, which was this past week. I was, one of the neat things was probably 15, 20, maybe 25 former players, not guys that I'd coached, in many instances it was, but, you know, came back to it, and all those young men now are in their 50s, you know, and I've kept up with many of them, but just to see where they've gone in their life, you know, many of them live here in Middle Tennessee. One I was just talking about, Brian Kimbrough from Dixon County. A lot of Middle Tennessee players here, and that's the most gratifying thing. You know, it's all. When I get asked about the neat things in coaching, you know, winning championships and those things are great, but when you really look back, it's all about relationships. It's not different than any other business, really. It's a business, and the relationships you have, the people you work with, and the friendships you make, and the long-term relationships you make. That's what the best part of it is. Now, at the time, I didn't know that, but I do know that now. So,
thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Well, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us here at the Delta Dental office for Community Checkup. Doug, again, I'm just so excited for you. I know the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame is such an incredible honor, and recognizing really just scratching the surface of the number of people in our state who are in sports in some way or another, and you know, from player to coach to now doing the radio shows, it really is the cherry on top for a lifetime commitment to the sport of football. So Congratulations.
I appreciate that, and you're exactly right. You know, this state, as we all know, is broad, not too deep, but broad, and just to be able, I was so fortunate to be able. When I was in Tennessee, I recruited from about Cookeville all the way over to Memphis, so I met a lot of people, and I often relate this story. You know, back then in the 80s, you weren't on TV every day. There were the streaming services, so you may be on TV maybe once or twice a year. And one of the things that was so neat was when you get out into West Tennessee and the Milands and the Brownsvilles and you know, and those areas, those fans out there, they never stepped foot on Tennessee's campus, many of them. They never went to school there. But they were Tennessee fans, and maybe they could go see one game a year, maybe. But you know, just to have a coach come in there, it was like I was John Majors. You know what I mean? many John Majors, but it's just you know, my wife and I we grew up together. My wife Pat, and of course Middle Tennessee's our home now, and Delta Dental. I mean, they weren't part of the show; they were a huge part of the show, are the huge part of the show. So thanks so much for that also.
Well, thank you for talking about mouth guards.
In spite of Dr. Wink.
Yes.
Doug Mathews, thank you so much for joining us here at Community Checkup. You're a gift to Tennessee and for the game of football. So
thank you very much. I appreciate you having me.
Well, stick with us. We'll be right back.
At Delta Dental of Tennessee, we know our success begins and ends with providing superior quality service, and that includes serving those who need it most. This year, we're celebrating 25 years of giving back to the community we call home. Delta Dental, along with our Smile 180 Foundation, supports Tennessee's dental colleges and oral health education, children's hospitals, free and reduced cost dental clinics, and other like-minded charities. Here's to the next 25 plus years of ensuring healthy smiles.
Being in Tennessee, we wanted to try to keep it as local as possible, so we have an entire section of our menu that is just dedicated to local whiskeys like Uncle Nearest, Jack Daniels, of course, George Dickel, Nelson Brothers, Greenbrier whiskey, and all of our taps are all local. From 2 o'clock until midnight, we've got food every day for you guys. A good handful of appetizers, some entrees, and a couple salads and things like that. My name is Ethan Kanata. Please come down and see us at the PIC Lobby Bar here at the Omni in Nashville.
Welcome back to Community Checkup. We're so excited to be here. Dean Farmer, we met you back in February with Give Kids a Smile Day, but you've got some exciting things happening here at Meharry, so we're so excited to come back and share this with everybody. So what is this space that we are standing in now?
This is called our CRETE Center. It's the Center for Research and Educational Technology. And in this suite, we will have the latest and greatest in technology as it relates to patient care. And the wonderful thing about this is that our students will actually be providing care to patients in this area. And so they will be not only providing care, but at the same time receiving additional training and experience in technology that's being used in dentistry in private practices today.
Okay. When did the conversation for this new center get started?
We started this conversation in about 2021. We started talking with CRETE, and we'd been wanting to do something with this space. And so the conversations that we had, we thought that this would be the ideal area and space for us to be able to expand what we're doing. And what we wanted to do and what the CRETE people wanted kind of lined up. And so we started those conversations then, and I think in 2023, so we started the build out, and here we are today.
There's so many new things when it comes to technology and innovations. How will this elevate what your students are learning and how they can best care for their patients when they leave here?
Our goal is really when our students graduate, we want them to be ready to go into practice, in today's practice. And so we already have some technology components that are part of it. But by being in this clinic, this will only expand it and give them even more experience, whether we're talking about doing digital dentures or we're talking about using laser technology to treat gum disease. They will be able to get that training and have that exposure while they're dental students, so that when they go out into practice, they've already been exposed to a lot of the things that are being used now.
That's incredible. Dean Farmer, I know you've been able to walk through this space already. That
Yes.
first time you walked through, what were you thinking? What was that you were seeing and the thoughts in your mind?
It was amazing to walk through and to see the final steps, because this was office space. And so seeing it be transformed over time and seeing the walls come down and all of the different steps of the way, to see it finally come to fruition was amazing. It was like a dream come true. So it's like watching your child grow up and all of a sudden just blossom. And so that's what this was.
Love that.
That's so exciting, and especially for the students here. So this is an innovative thing for dental schools across the country. This is, I mean, it's not just new for Meharry, it's new in the whole industry, isn't it?
Yes, so we are the sixth dental school that has a CREET center. And CREET is a group of companies, partnerships that have come together to provide dental equipment, supplies, and so we met with our faculty and we met with different representatives from the companies that are part of CREET to talk about what our vision was, what were some of the cutting edge things, and so together we decided what equipment would be in here, would be in this space, what would be the most valuable to the students, but more importantly to the patient, and putting the patient first. And so that patients would be able to receive quality dental care using state-of-the-art equipment at an affordable price.
To be a part of one of these schools, to have this here, did you have to meet any sort of requirements or academic standards?
Well, we had to submit a proposal for what we would use the space for, how it would be utilized. And so for us, the forefront was patient care and student training. And so how we would be able to advance the training that our students would receive in the delivery of patient care.
We've had the pleasure of watching your students work at a couple of different events, and just the care and the energy that they have and the understanding and how they interact with the patients that are in the chair. Incredible to me for them being so young.
Yes, yes. We really, their clinical experiences that they have to complete in all of the different areas, but at the forefront is that what you do now is what you will do for the rest of your life, and making certain that you connect with the patient, that you're listening to the patient, you understand what the patient's needs are, and then being able to explain to the patient and having that connectivity so that the patient feels comfortable with you, the patient understands what it is that you're suggesting that they need, what is going on, why you need this, what are the benefits of it. And so watching the students even evolve from when they come in excited as a first-year student, and they're like a sponge and want to just learn everything and be a part of everything. So it as I say, coming to work is not coming to work, it's coming to have fun and make a difference.
Love that.
That's awesome. And the students here at Meharry, the faculty, everybody does make a difference. And I love your mission. Can you share your mission with our viewers?
Our mission is worship of God through service to mankind. And so we are a faith-based school, and so that is the foundation of what we do, and that is what we instill in our faculty, our staff, and our students. Everyone understands and embraces that mission, so that we're not just saying it, but we're actually demonstrating that in everything that we do.
Thank you for this. Thank you for your time and just how and sharing the excitement here. Have we left anything out? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think it's been a great interview.
Yes.
Appreciate you taking time. I know you've got a big celebration today, so thank you for coming and spending a few minutes with us.
Well, thank you all so much.
Dean Cherae Farmer here with the School of Dentistry at Meharry Medical College. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Dental and vision. We love your whole face. See us at deltadentaltn.com.
Welcome back. Thank you always for joining us, and we hope that you're getting as much out of these pieces as we are. What an informative show today.
Yes, I love talking to communities and schools because, going back to Kids Dental Day, all of that was in prep for going back to school, and we got to hear about some of the things that they do for the kids in schools. And, with Meharry, the College of Dentistry, what they're going to be learning. And of course, everybody loves fall football.
Don't we all? And learning actually never stops. You should learn something new. What is that? Every day.
Absolutely.
Always a joy. Missy, thank you for always being here with me. Thank you guys for being here with us. Until the next time, we'll see you then.